Okay, before I get started here on my ROH review, I want to just send a personal note to our esteemed colleague here at the Alter Up Show, B-Rad, and his wife Maggie. Last Sunday on April 15th, if you haven't already heard, if you haven't already seen our Raw review from this past Monday night, he and B-Rad and Maggie gave birth to a little girl named Ava Lynn Howell. Both baby and mother are doing fine. And check out my shirt, B-Rad. What do you think of this? I'm sure you've already gotten some modern stuff for Ava herself, so maybe a little cheerleading outfit or something, but anyway, check this bad boy out. Okay, this episode of ROH Wrestling was a Road Rage edition. I'm not going to get into this so much. This week they just basically covered day one of the Showdown the Sun pay-per-view. But my only thing about this is, why would they show this all on free TV when a lot of people probably paid the $20 to get both the day one and the day two of the shows itself, and you had a lot of technical difficulties to go along with this. So anyway, like I said, I'm not going to talk so much about this, but the first match that they showed on the TV show is the match with Lance Storm against Mike Bennett, with Maria in his corner. Brutal Bob was nowhere to be found in this match, but early on you got the requisite "you still got it" chant for Storm. I mean, he is 43 years old and Bennett is 26. So they kind of played up that kind of deal. The battle for respect, if you will. But long story short, Bennett ended up winning this match after he did two box office smashes, where one off the top rope where Storm did kick out, but he finally beat him with the TKO, and then afterwards he stood up and he got a great ovation from the crowd. And afterwards, they went for the handshake, which Bennett actually did, but afterwards he got yet another box office smash, so down he went. Then they showed some of the closing moments of the Proving You Wrong match between the Briscoes and Mikey Nichols and Shane Haste. Like I said, I did not plunk down the $20 to watch this pay-per-view, and from the looks of things, it's probably a good thing I didn't, but especially when I can see this all on free TV. But anyway, this actually was a decent match from what I did see, especially the closing moments of it. But Briscoes won the match, and I would just go into the next night's pay-per-view, so it was decent from what I saw. Okay, the next segment was the Inside ROH segment. They talked about the main event of day one between Davey Richards, Roderick Strong, and Eddie Edwards. But it's basically the same three people there in the main event picture. It's basically bullshit. Especially Davey Richards holding on to the title in what they called a triple threat match, but really it was a three-way dance, because instead of having just like the first pin or submission be the winner, you had one person go out by pin or submission, or in this case they got pinned, and then finally ended up being Richards and Strong, and Richards won over. Yeah, that's a joke. Anyway, then the next segment they showed the recap of that press conference that they showed on last week's show, where Davey Richards will finally defend the title against Kevin Steen at the Border Wars show on May 12th. I just thought it was funny where Kevin Steen was basically poking Cornette with his own tennis racket, and I mean just being the real antagonist that he is, it was funny. Cornette talked about it some. Then they announced more matches for the Border Wars pay-per-view. It's going to be the ROH debut of Fit Finlay against Roderick Strong. Who knows, maybe that'll be for the television title, even though they haven't announced it yet, but but that came up. Then there's going to be a world match for it's a fight without honor for the world tag team titles, being the Briscoes against wrestling's greatest tag team. Then also it's going to be Eddie Edwards against the Man Beast Rhino, making his ROH debut along with Truth Martini. And they showed Eddie Edwards doing a promo, which is, for Eddie Edwards, it was pretty decent. But then he did this at the end. Well, Arn Anderson, you are not Eddie Edwards. Sorry. Okay, then he came up to the main event of this show, which is the La Revancha match. Last man standing between El Generico and Kevin Steen. And it's cool when you watch an El Generico match. You almost feel like you're at a World Cup match, or maybe not so much a World Cup soccer match, but just a soccer match in general, because you got the ole, 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 like that, you know. which is, I think that's cool. And Steen comes out, he picks out a Jim Cornette sign from the crowd and punches it. So, but really, there was good storytelling in this match. It is probably the best match on day one of the Showdown on the Sun show. When Generico was doing his top rope punches, it was uno, dos, tres, cuatro. They're counting in Spanish, you know. And I really think that Kevin Steen could be the Mick Foley of this generation. I mean, because if you look at him, he doesn't look like much of an athlete, but he's a better athlete than what he gets credit for. I mean, granted, he's probably not quite the daredevil that Foley has been, but then again, nobody else has either. But the ending came where Jimmy Jacobs came to the ring. He thought he was going to try to do something to Steen, but because he gave Generico a chair. And right when he gave him the chair, he brought out his trusty spike and poked him in the head with it. And then finally he blasted him with said chair and right in the head. So Steen ended up winning the match, and I thought it might have been the best match on both day one and day two of the show. Okay, final thoughts on the show is that I don't really think they needed to put all this stuff on the one show. I think this show would have been, I don't know, couldn't they have done like a mini TV taping or something, like tape a couple shows to get them through from the pay-per-view itself up until their next round of TV tapings? Couldn't they just done some more building up to the Border Wars pay-per-view on May 12th, which is 3 short weeks away? I'm just saying here. I don't think they needed to show all this stuff on free TV. That it's like it kind of defeats the purpose of buying the pay-per-view itself. But I did enjoy watching the Kevin Steen match. I mean, I think he's the best thing going in ROH right now. I mean, and it's not even close. And I can only hope and pray he wins the world title from Davey Richards. It's like Davey Richards as the guys on Busted Open were saying, if you have satellite radio if you have Sirius XM, I would really recommend giving their show a listen, because they're probably knowledgeable and about what they're talking about. But it's like what they were saying on the show is like he's basically John Cena light in ROH, because he's supposed to be the fan favorite and he's getting booed just like Cena does. Maybe not so much as Cena does on a regular basis, but anyway. And I'm really like I said, I'm really hoping that they have Steen win that match, and it'll be a big fuck you to ROH who kept him down for a year. But anyway, let me know what you thought down below. Subscribe up above if you haven't already. This is Marvelous Mark here from the Off the Rope Show. Since 2010, we've been entertaining ourselves while you watch this. And salute of the late, great Dick Clark. For now, so long.